So welcome everyone. We're going to get started here, and as folks join us, we hope they'll be able to get right into the conversation. My name is Rob Calcaney, and I'm Vice President of Sales here at MarketSight. I'm very happy and pleased to have you here today with us. Thanks for taking the time and showing the interest. With me, my colleagues are Nick Kwan, and he is Customer Success Specialist here for us, and Ben Chappelli, and he is Business Analyst. These are very skilled, very knowledgeable business analysts for us. They know the product really well, so this is going to be an excellent presentation. I hope you're going to get a lot out of it. The title is 3 Easy Ways to Create Live Dashboards. So that is the focus we have for you today. We're going to take you through 3 different ways using MarketSight that you can create dashboards that you'll find compelling, effective, and fast to create. This is interactive, so we're going to capture questions throughout. If you could type in your questions. We'll probably stay on course to walk through the different demos and so on, but if there's something pertinent that comes up, we'll interrupt and ask. Otherwise, we're going to save them for the end, but we do want your questions, and we will attempt to answer as many as possible. If at the end, when we aren't able to answer them all, we will make a point of getting back to and answering every single question we get. So let's get started. So let me just tell you a little bit about MarketSight for those that might not know it. We are a cloud-based data analysis and visualization software platform. We've been in business for over 10 years, and we specialize in software and services for market researchers. That is what we do. SaaS-based, so we're always coming up with new features and functions. But we don't deviate from that. That is our area of expertise. We serve thousands and thousands of market researchers and analysts worldwide. I'm going to talk a little bit about the MarketSight itself, because it really is the anchor that essentially enables the dashboards. It's a software platform that lets you update and edit data from a variety of sources, customize the variable so you can work and prep the data, run statistical testing in the crosstabs as you create the crosstabs, and they're drag and drop. You'll see it's very easy. The charts are then linked into and able to be created from the crosstabs back and forth. You can export native PowerPoint slides or 2 native PowerPoint slides from the charts and graphs. And you're able to then create and support the dashboards. So it's all connected. It's all empowered again from the abilities and the features inside of MarketSight. And I say that because that's a major differentiation for us, and it's a major power of the dashboards themselves. We're capable of taking in data from multiple sources: SPSS, Excel, SAS, SSS, CSVs, and so on. So we really want to make it easy as possible to get this, the data in as quickly as possible into MarketSight for you. And then we also integrate with a lot of the survey tools that are out there, the major ones. So it's Qualtrics, Confirmit, Survey, Google Surveys, CMix, M4, CSpace, World App, and that list is growing. And again, the point of MarketSight is to be able to use it with whatever infrastructure or other partners that you're using out there to gather and process the data. And then finally, the software is also able to, through a function called Key Findings, you can collaborate with your clients, your colleagues, your stakeholders in a secure and private environment. And you'll see that as well. But what we're trying to do here is talk about dashboards, but you're going to see throughout this that we also want to make sure that you can then communicate to the folks that need to see the data and need to take action on the data. And so we're, again, excited about being here. I want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the industry as far as dashboards and the trends that we're starting to see. And this has really picked up in the last 9 months. But we're seeing both large and specialized research and business consulting companies and major enterprises moving from we think we should do something in this space to actually creating dashboards and then refining the dashboards. It includes tracking studies. It includes regional customer satisfaction, pricing, product usage studies, where you want to cut and look at the data in different ways. Executives are drawing forward and looking at this and saying they want to see the data, but they want it in summary format, and they want to have some flexibility in how they look at it as well. And then we're also seeing, from a research company perspective, it evolving as something that is being asked for and needs to be provided by them to their customers. That is new types of deliverables, and dashboards a key part of that. And for them, thus, it's a key differentiation and competitive advantage. So we're working in partnership with a lot of them to help them get to market quickly and be able to support that demand. Dashboards also, we're finding, are also getting connected to not only the live data that's coming in so they can be refreshed on a regular basis, but they're also being connected to existing data in the corporation or in the enterprise. And that includes BI and includes other high value information. The other evolution of dashboards we're seeing is as data is being collected in new ways and new formats, which include video and audio and pictures and so on. There's a need for that to also transfer into the dashboards. And so you're going to see some exciting stuff from us in about 6 to 8 weeks where we release the next version of MarketSight where we're able to do that as well. But when you think about it this way, it's changing rapidly. The research industry is changing, and these dashboards are a reflection of that. And so it's a really exciting place for us to be, and hopefully for you as well. And then finally, there's a push-pull that goes in any marketplace, and we're hearing more that from our customers that the C-level executives and on the C-suites are starting to get used to the BI tools and dashboards, and so they're also requiring that the output be in a more visual format. And along with that, it frees up the researchers because there's a lot more self-service that can take place when the data is out there. You give permissions as to what you want them to see, but they can start to ask and answer their own questions. So that's another draw for this. So again, a lot of really, really compelling things that are happening right now. They're happening quickly, and this market will continue to evolve. The word dashboard will change, but the concept won't. And that's what we're happy to be part of. So we're here to talk about three easy ways to create dashboards. Nick is going to take you through professionally designed templates that are embedded inside of MarketSight. And these are a drag and drop, again, where you can take whatever you create and bring them into it. So I think you're going to find that very easy to use and something you could really apply right away if you have MarketSight or exploring MarketSight. That also includes different size screens so that wherever they're looking at data, you can essentially present the data to them. And then Nick will also take us through automated reporting, and you're going to see it's a very fast and effective way to identify the information you want and create instant dashboards. And this can be anywhere from interim results to sharing different types of analysis with customers as you're going through this. And again, it's fast, quick, and it's something that we're really excited about here as well. And then finally, Ben is going to take us through Dashboard Design Studio, which is a new service that we're offering where we actually can partner with you and work with you not only on what you're trying to do, but then work with you on the data, the configuration, and back and forth on the form factors and the functionality in the dashboards and support that on a regular basis. So you can go from not having anything to 2 to 4 weeks, having very quick, effective, functional databases or dashboards that are being used right away. And so again, we're moving, we're resourcing this, we're having a lot of fun with our customers, and hopefully you're going to find this presentation to be interesting. Ask questions throughout, and with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Nick, and he's going to start his part of the discussion, starting with professionally designed templates. Nick, over to you.
All right, thanks, Rob. So basically, a high-level overview of the flow of how this process is going to work for you guys is it's going to start with your dataset upload, or if you're choosing to use our integration, as Rob discussed earlier, then your datasets will auto-populate into the datasets page here. Next, you would basically either create new variables or make modifications to the existing variables based on your analytic needs. Then you would use those variables to create crosstabs. And then if you need to do further statistics testing, that's where you would accomplish this. And then from there, you would proceed to create your charts. If you are looking for specialized charts like word clouds or scatter plots, you would use your data views. And then finally, once you create all those outputs and those objects, you're free to stick them into your dashboards. So starting from the datasets page here, uploading a new dataset into MarketSight, if you're going to do this manually, is relatively easy. All you need to do is select New, Dataset, and then proceed to select that file from your computer. And then again, if you choose to use our integration, which we have with the platforms Qualtrics, Google Surveys, Confirmit, and CMix, then those datasets will auto-populate into MarketSight. Next, you would come to the variables page here, where you could either create different variables here based on your needs. You could make edits to existing variables. Or if needed, you can view the basic metrics of any of these survey questions in your data set. Finally, you come to crosstabs here. And creating crosstabs in MarketSight is easy, but for the sake of the webinar, I've already pre-created this crosstab. It's really just a matter of dragging and dropping your variables from the left-hand pane here into your columns and rows, and then your crosstab will populate. So MarketSight has a bunch of different display options, so you can really set this up however you'd like. And we do conduct automatic statistics testing, which is a powerful feature that people like to utilize. Once you're satisfied with the crosstab layout that you've created, you're free to go to the charting module, of which I would just select this charting icon here. And let's just select clustered column. So we're now in the chart editor, and you'll notice that I do have a custom font and color scheme going here, and that's because I'm choosing to apply my templates so that I have less steps to take to ultimately get to my polished finished product here. If you want, you can make manual adjustments to the charts themselves. And once you're satisfied with this look, you're free to export if desired. So just for the sake of this, I'll show you an export of using my template. And then I'll also show you an export of using our standard template, because if you choose not to use a template, this is what your charts are going to look like.
So as this is going on, a couple things I'm going to draw your attention to. One is you have the editor and all those features on the left-hand side. Right is you're going to have the output, the cross tabs, the visualization. You're also going to have a lot of flexibility in how you visualize it, what scene, colors, format, text, etc. And this is all prep for the dashboards, because everything you do now, you're going to be able to roll into the dashboards. It also gives you a lot of flexibility and time saving, as Nick was saying, because in each step they're integrated. It's all connected together, so you don't have to go out to another software or another function, right? And from an analysis perspective, you can look at charts, go back to the data, back and forth. But as you create those finished goods or those deliverables, you're doing it here inside of MarketSight, and it's all connected.
Yep. And what you can see here is if I were to choose to not use my template, basically I'll end up with a standard PowerPoint chart, and I'm free to make edits as desired. Or if I choose to use my template, I'm kind of closer to my final output, and I can still make edits if needed.
And once the templates are set up, either for your customer or internal, they're yours. And again, to truncate the time frame, a lot of our clients struggle with having to create PowerPoint, and this once you get it set up in MarketSight, that goes away.
Yep. So just highlighting a feature here, which is typically underutilized, every saved MarketSight chart actually has a reference code embedded in it, ultimately to be used for this PowerPoint sync feature. Basically, if you're in a situation where you're constantly editing or adding to your data sets, you can use PowerPoint sync here to edit MarketSight charts in any given PowerPoint deck. So this PowerPoint deck could contain just MarketSight charts. It could contain MarketSight charts as well as other content. And if you do use this PowerPoint sync feature, it'll basically make it such that you'll get a PowerPoint with only the edited MarketSight charts. So it'll update all the underlying data behind those charts, and then it'll leave all the other content alone. This kind of skipping some steps and making it so that you can create your final output more quickly.
And as you change the data, whether it be interim results or series of studies with like questions, the work you've done creating these in a format that you are effective, you don't have to do it over and over again. You can keep reusing this. So.
Yep. And then once you're satisfied with all the charts that you've created, now you're ready to actually create this dashboard based on all those charts. So moving into dashboards, you have a series of different options when it comes to customizing and creating your own dashboard. So for example, if I were to select new dashboard here, I'll basically just get a blank page where I'm free to kind of fill in that space with the different charts and different whatever output icons or reports that I make, and I can just stick them into that blank space. If that doesn't work, or the easier option I should say, is you could actually use one of the templates that we have. So we have a series of different layouts that may suit your needs, and it really depends on what you're looking to do. So for example, we do have a series of mobile templates if you are planning to share these dashboards and anticipating that individuals are going to view this on a mobile device, or you could just pick any of the other layouts that we have.
Yeah, our designers are creating these on a regular basis. And so at each rev and during the course of the year, you're going to see more of these in there, more tools, more information, or icons as well. But expect this to keep evolving, and we always take input from our customers as well. But this is, again, built in and embedded from our designers on our side.
So I'm just going to select this MarketSight template here. And you'll actually see a series of boxes here that have lines in them. These are placeholders. Basically what they do is they resize any chart or object that I grabbed from my tabs here, and it'll force it into that space. So for example, if I were to take some of these charts here and stick them into this space, you'll see that I can quickly and easily create the dashboard that I want. Let me just zoom out a little so that you can see more of it. And then really just with a few clicks, I can get my charts into this dashboard. And from here, I can edit my title. I could add items such as images from my computer. I could add text, or I could even add additional placeholders if I want to set this up. So I'll just add an image. And then I'll proceed to select a logo from my computer. From here, I have a series of different options. I could make multiple pages if I wanted to treat this almost like an online PowerPoint deck that's attached to live data. Let's say I want to stick my crosstab in this one. And then I can always resize any object that I stick into the MarketSight panels here. Something else I like to point out is that we do have a series of global filters here that will apply to all the chart objects in my dashboard. And basically how you set this up is whatever filters you put into your crosstabs will show up as a global filter. And all you need to do to turn on this filter is go back to your design tab and ensure that this box is checked here. So I'll just make some filter adjustments. And then you'll see that all the charts and objects in my dashboard here will adjust accordingly.
So again, this is the interactive nature, this is the self-service nature, this is the ability of the folks who are viewing this to actually work with some of the data as you wish to. You can set up these filters any way you wish. There's also more functionality coming out in the next release of MarketSight, so you watch this space as well. You'll see additional functionality in the filters.
Yep. So once you're satisfied with the layout of your dashboard, you have a series of different options about how you can go about sharing this. The first and simplest would be to just export this to PowerPoint. I'll use my same template here. And for this case, I'm going to actually export it to image. But if you would like, you also have the ability to not export to image, and then you'll have those native PowerPoint charts.
So again, this is what I want to draw back again. These are all powered by MarketSight, the analysis, the data. If you were to change something, update something, these are going to get updated as well. So,
yep. And then within a couple seconds, I'll have my PowerPoint export. And then you'll see that it also retains my templates. Your other method of sharing would occur after I save my dashboard here. So once I save, you'll see that the share button becomes available. My different sharing options are I could email a link, of which I could set the link to expire from 1, 7, or 30 days, or never. And basically, whoever receives that link will be able to access your dashboard and will be directed to a page that really only contains this dashboard, and they'll also be able to export it. If you choose to leave on these interactive filters here, these will also remain. And in addition to that, something that I should have mentioned earlier is that not only can you apply your global filter, but if you'd like, you can actually apply filters to individual chart types as well. So there's a lot of flexibility in about how you can go sharing this information and how the individual that would access this would be able to control what they view. Your other sharing option would be to adding to key findings. Basically, key findings is our sharing hub within MarketSight. So if I just jump to this page, every MarketSight account has the ability to create up to 1,000 key findings users. So that's users with their own login and their own password. And essentially, you can set up permissions and folders and different outputs into key findings. And basically you could set it up such that only the individuals you want will be able to view the different outputs that you've created. So just to show a quick example of that, right here.
So customers use this, again, for secure relationships. If they have customers and they want them to see specific information, this is a way they'll use it. It's free, it's part of MarketSight, so it's not anything you have to invest in, but it is a capability that does get used a lot. The other benefit is once the recipient has this, they can access it whenever they want. And again, it gets utilized more at the customer site or the key stakeholder site. So it's permissions based and it's secure. And it's really easy to set up for as many as you want. I think up to 1,000 is what Nick had just mentioned. So there's pretty high ceiling on that.
Yep. So just going back to the dashboard module here. So that was basically the first method that you could go about creating a dashboard easily within MarketSight. The next method I'm going to show you is going to be utilizing automated reports. And this is actually the fastest way you could go about creating a dashboard within MarketSight. Really, within a couple seconds, you can just design a really nice looking dashboard in 3 easy steps. First, you would select your column variables or your banner points. Then you would select your filter variables that you'd like to utilize within those outputs and created objects. And then you would select the different outputs that you want this automated report to create. And in this case, we're going to select all of them just because we want them to build the dashboard as well. So first, I'm going to select my column variables here. So I'm going to select age and gender. Next, I'm going to select my filter variables. So in this case, I think I'm just going to use all my demographic variables. And then to create all these types of reports here to ultimately lead to a dashboard, I'm just going to select all. And just like that, my dashboard's been created. So if I go to the dashboards page now, you'll see that this dashboard here has been automatically created for me. So if I jump into this page, you'll see our dashboard here.
And that's as fast as it takes. And so we've got several customers that have started to use this again to share data very quickly from the field to their key stakeholders, product managers and customer that come to mind. And it allows the customer to really be in control, see what's going on, and interact with the information, both as it's being collected and as it's being tabulated and analyzed. And so tightens up that relationship with, in the end, the folks that you need to make sure are successful, that being your clients, whether they be internal or external. But they're really starting to use this very effectively now that they've got it kind of built into their MO.
Yep. And then something else I do like to point out is that you may notice that there's only 2 charts contained on this page. But something to notice and just point out is that actually all charts within MarketSight are tied to all the crosstabs or the crosstabs that it is based off of. And because the way automated reporting works is it'll essentially cross your column variables with every single variable in your data set, you can actually change and manipulate this chart a lot more than it seems. So for example, if I wanted to change my row variable completely, I could do that. And then if I wanted to change my column variable as well, let's say I just wanted this with regard to gender, I could switch this too. And now I have a completely different chart that is showing me different metrics based on that data set. So with that, I think that's all I have to cover with regard to creating dashboards with the first 2 methods within MarketSight.
Great. Thanks, Nick. That was really helpful. And we've got a couple questions coming in. We're going to hold off on those for now. And I'm going to turn it over to Ben, who's going to take you through our dashboard services and what that entails and what benefits you'd get from it. So Ben, over to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone taking time out of their day to be here, and hopefully, there's a lot of interesting things that'll help your needs and your business in terms of analysis and reporting. As Nick showed, and I believe strongly that MarketSight is a very powerful, intuitive, easy to learn tool. We definitely encourage a lot of our users to work with the features that Nick highlighted, things like automated reporting, utilizing the system templates that are already in your account, and really make best use of the dashboards on your own. And so to complement the intuitive nature of the product, we do offer a services component to our business where we'll take some of that work off of your shoulders. You know, and as nice as the dashboards look with the art and the design, the colors and whatnot, it is still a data project. And at the end of the day, there's people on your team that are going to need to put the dashboards together. In some cases, either you don't have the resources or you're working on many projects at the same time. Our team, we have a team of great data professionals and design professionals. You know, we can do a lot of that work for you. So I just want to highlight the new services component to our business, and hopefully this can help you work a little more effectively in all the projects you have going on. So a wide range of the responsibilities that we can help you with or cover completely range from data strategy, content strategy, all the way to creating a final product. So as mentioned, when we're working with in a data project in MarketSight, there's some preparation, some data wrangling or cleaning that needs to be done. We can do a lot of that work for you. And if you have someone that can do those tasks, sometimes the need is more of content strategy. So trying to find the best way to tell the story, glean the insights that'll be most effective to your audience. On top of that, some clients may not have the resources or access to graphic designers or art professionals, and so we can enhance your story with some custom graphics and piece everything together in a very compelling canvas. Lastly, of course, we'll do all the development and back-end work, piecing everything together, and provide you with a polished dashboard on the end. Lastly, MarketSight is obviously a web-based application, as we're showing. So the hosting and maintenance of the dashboard, as time goes on, if you are doing multiple waves in the study, we may need to incorporate new data updates or amend the dashboard that we build to accommodate some of the new features that we're always releasing. As Rob mentioned, we're really excited about our next release, hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks. In my opinion, we're gonna have some really excellent features, a few of which are definitely gonna make the dashboarding tool and part of MarketSight even stronger and easier to use. So as we build out a dashboard for you and we want to roll out those new features into the product we develop, that's all included in the hosting and maintenance side of our service. So just to give you an idea of how we work, a pretty standard workflow. We'll get on a call with you and really try to understand what the word dashboard means to you. Maybe you've never built a dashboard before, or you're coming from a different perspective. We'll definitely get in sync with what your expectations are. And we'll review either some work that you've done in the past or other dashboards that you've seen online that you feel are successful. And then our teams will work with yours to gather the assets we need. Of course, data sets and data maps so that we can, as quickly as possible, familiarize ourselves with your study. And then any graphic requirements or assets that you already have, we'll take those all in-house and start preparing them inside a MarketSight dashboard. So we'll set up weekly checkpoints so that we're always in sync with expectations and sharing our progress with you. And we'll be able to iterate, including any feedback that you have if there's a change in direction or a new idea comes to mind. We're pretty nimble and flexible to adapt to those needs as time goes on. So generally, just to comment on how long this workflow may take, it can vary based on your expectation, but we shoot for something within 2 to 3, maybe a month, 2 to 3 weeks, perhaps a month. And in that time, we'll set up weekly checkpoints where we can touch base, as I mentioned, and make changes and share progress. So as we're building this dashboard, what's most important up front is to think about how the end users are going to consume this work. The easiest way to deliver the dashboard, so to speak, is directly inside the MarketSight application. So our service offering is open to, of course, current customers, but also new customers. So if you've never used MarketSight before, we'll build this dashboard directly in the application in a brand new account for you. So this also opens up the idea that a single dashboard build or a project that you need help with will also include access to all the great features that Nick highlighted. And if you're new to MarketSight, there's plenty more to cover, perhaps beyond the scope of this conversation, but our team would be able to show the ins and outs of MarketSight on a private session if you're interested. So this picture here is just showing a dashboard that we built, for example, inside the MarketSight application. Nick also alluded to the concept of key findings, which is really the in-app reporting solution that MarketSight offers. What's important here is that this is a password protected and permissions controlled viewing environment. So if I'm a MarketSight user in an account and I'm working on multiple studies at the same time, I can kind of cherry pick some content that I've built that I think is important or useful. And in this conversation, that could be a single dashboard or just one chart or one table. And I'll share that to my key findings library. And I can create an unlimited amount of free users who will have their own username and password, where they can log into a protected environment and view the content that you've shared. So the dashboard that we build is perfectly suited to be delivered in this key findings environment. You could have a number of users who can log in and see that dashboard, but then also be able to use the filters and the interactivity that Nick showed to really find their own insights within the story and take a little more ownership in their analysis and their reporting. So that's one way that a dashboard could be delivered. Another is that you can make a dashboard public. And so that means that you can embed this on your website. So if this is perhaps a study that you want the results to be customer facing to your own customers, you can have this dashboard directly on your own marketing website, or you can have a unique obscure link, meaning you will share the link, really an unguessable link to the individuals who want to consume the dashboard. Lastly, on the right, we're showing an example of where we actually built a custom web page that's data-driven with the MarketSight dashboards. In some cases, this will just allow for more flexibility on the design side, or if there's a really unique output that you're looking for, or a feature that you really want to include in this dashboard, we can include that in basically this custom web page. Of course, that's data-driven by MarketSight. So Rob and Nick are talking a lot about how MarketSight is that cog wheel in your workflow, where it's connecting to your data sources and also providing an output at the same time. As new data comes in, MarketSight can prepare some updates and push those outputs directly to this custom web page that we have on the right. Lastly, traditionally we'll make dashboards in a desktop orientation. Most users are in front of a computer or laptop when they're viewing the dashboards. But we can very easily make additional versions of a dashboard or a very specific dashboard for a tablet or mobile user. So if you're an executive on the go and perhaps you just want a KPI report that's available at all times, a MarketSight dashboard can do that. And as new data comes in, those results are accessible anywhere that you're connected to the internet. So it's really nice to point that out. You could have subsets of a dashboard that are trimmed down, so to speak, and available as you go about your day in and out of meetings and conference rooms, etc. So I just wanted to show, if you haven't had the chance, I encourage you to go to MarketSight.com, our marketing website, and there's some really great examples of the dashboarding tool. So actually, I'll take just a minute and I will show you some of those. Let's see here. So again, if you visit MarketSight.com, under the product drop-down menu, there's a visual gallery. That's this page that we're looking at. And these are all live dashboards that are connected to real data sets in MarketSight accounts. And I'll just very quickly introduce you to a few of them if you haven't seen them. I really like this dashboard. This is more of a static infographic style dashboard. So very bold and colorful. And there's really nothing out of the box that you wouldn't have access to as a user. Of course, you can tell this requires someone with an artistic eye to thematically put this whole dashboard together. But really, there's no special tricks that we took to do something like this. We can incorporate some external images, and we have some nice live charts here that will update as new data flows in. Another minor detail, for example, 88 is a data-driven KPI and not necessarily just a static text box. Here's a dashboard example with a global filter. Nick was showing this earlier as well. And as I make a filter change, every chart on this dashboard will update. So again, 90K right here, we'll just take a peek. All right, so that dropped to 24. So that's a data-driven chart. And we have a nice little selections map here to see which regions that we're reporting on. Same idea with this black one. What I like about this dashboard example is we've included some infographics, for example. So these. There we go. That's a nice effect. I like that in regards to these icon charts. And on the right side, just some classic gauge charts. These are really ideal for NPS or single value calculation charts. I'll point out one more. This one's a little more advanced in that it utilizes the pages that Nick described. So in this example, we have a buyers and a product portion of the study that we're reporting on. And so we can paginate the results through multiple pages. So more like a storyboard type approach. I just want to comment also that, as Rob mentioned, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, we're really excited about our next release. We're looking for the next 4 to 6 weeks. MarketSight 10.9 will be released, and we try to hit quarterly updates every year, but this one is one that we're really excited about. I think specifically as it pertains to dashboards, there's going to be a lot of what we think game-changing features here. Our whole filtering concept is going to be improved, and we're going to have a lot of really exciting charts and visual assets that you can incorporate on these dashboards. So again, hopefully we've shown that the tool itself is very easy to use, it's quick to adopt, but if for resources or just a project management perspective, we can take a lot of that heavy lifting off your plate and provide as little work as just some consulting on how to make the most effective dashboard, or we can take the whole project and turn around a professionally designed dashboard as quickly as possible. So like I mentioned, just ballpark numbers, we can turn something like this around within a couple of weeks. Generally, we'll shoot for something in the range of about $10,000 to $15,000. We find this to be a really competitive and affordable price point compared to what we see out in the market. And hopefully, as we've explained, we're able to meet your needs regardless of what it is that you need done. So
yeah, and the benefit of that is that includes support for the year, right? Because we have new features and functions coming. So if you've got a dashboard that we worked on with you, we're going to make sure we're there for the duration for you and for your customers. So and these different versions that are coming out will have new capabilities each quarter. So that's important. Or new questions come up as well. So we stay with you. So, and in doing that also, as you use MarketSight, you're learning kind of what we're doing as well. So you're going to be able to also do some of these yourself. So it's a good formula that way to get you a quick start and also be able to kind of fortify your abilities as well.
So there was a couple questions that came in. I just wanted to touch upon them. One was, is there a limit on how many people I can share this dashboard with? And I think that's a good question. Part of what I was talking about a few minutes ago is the different ways a dashboard can be delivered. And just to reiterate those points, if a dashboard is set to public, meaning you're able to embed this on a website, there's no limit at all. Anyone who visits that website or has access to that link can view the dashboard. And again, if the dashboard is built with some interactivity, they'll be able to experience that as well. The other avenue that we touched upon is making a dashboard available in the key findings area of MarketSight. Again, that's the reporting tool. Individual users can have their own unique login. So we'd actually create a username for that person or those groups of people, and then they'll be able to log in and consume the dashboard inside the MarketSight platform. In terms of a limit of the amount of people that you can add in that case, it is effectively unlimited. I believe we say 1,000 users, but they don't influence the pricing at all. So these are free users that you can create at any time, and you can assign unique permissions to them. So you could have multiple groups of users who only have access to individual pieces of content in your account. Another question that came up was in regards to filtering. There was a comment really liking the ability to globally filter the dashboard. As I mentioned, we're really excited about our next release that's going to really improve and evolve that workflow and that experience. But on top of that, I just wanted to point it out. I don't have an example in this exact dashboard, but each of the individual charts are interactive and dynamic. So for example, I could have a filter that would only filter this age of auto chart and not filter the rest of the charts on the dashboard. Of course, the few examples we shared already is that the opposite is true. I could globally filter all the contents on my dashboard. So anything in between those two is possible in MarketSight.
Yep. So another question that came through: how do I determine if a dashboard is needed? And I guess I can answer with what we see. Questions to ask are, is there a large number, are there senior people that are looking at this information, right? And how important is it to the organization? If they're asking a lot of questions about the data you are presenting and the presentations you're presenting, and you think that you can also let them self-serve and answer, that's a good way to offload some of the workload and let you focus on higher priority tasks. Does it look old and tired? When you've been doing it for a long time, a particular way, right? Is there high usage? It's also a good way to then engage your customers and hopefully some senior customers, right? To show the value of what you're doing and get them involved in it so you can modify this and incorporate what they'd like to see, right? And then I guess maybe another one is there revenue associated with this? Is it an important line of business or service or a competitive issue that's come up? And again, the faster and the quicker you can get out this information to your organization, the more they can respond and make good decisions based on that information. So those are 4 that really work well.
No, that's great. Rob, I just wanted to comment about the first question, how do I know when I need a dashboard? I think that's really important because a dashboard really means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And another thing that we're finding is, to be honest, sometimes people, they have a process that has worked for them for years, and maybe you recognize this or can relate to this. Sometimes it's hard to want to invest in a new approach. What's really unique about the MarketSight dashboards and the MarketSight tool is that anything that we make in terms of a dashboard, what we're looking at on the screen, for example, can easily be downloaded as a multi-page PowerPoint deck. So if there is a little hesitance about completely jumping into something new, the MarketSight application itself can prepare that entire report, just like what Nick showed. We have multi-slide outputs customized with your corporate branding and logo. And then as new data comes into MarketSight, we can update those offline PowerPoint slides. But it's those PowerPoint slides that could be the body of a dashboard online as well. So the user has the option to, in real time, see new data come into the platform, be able to enable the filters and work with multiple pages right in my web browser, or that entire dashboard can be downloaded and basically dissected into a multi-page PowerPoint deck. So I have that traditional static offline report and the dynamic online report that's always connected to my data set and data source.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. That was excellent. Let's see here. This looks pretty easy to learn, but inevitably I'm going to run into problems. How do I get support or help? Great question. It is pretty easy to learn. The form factor is very similar once you get used to it, but there's a lot of functionality built in there. So we have live support available 8 to 8 in the US time zone, but I mean, that pretty much covers a workday across the world. We're expanding that, but in addition, on the site and on the web and in the product itself, there's a lot of recorded self-help, very granular there 24/7. But we are here to help you. And if we need to get emails back and forth, that's fine. If we need to get on the phone with you or a web call, that's fine too. That's a great question, because the point is we want to make sure you're successful and you're successful quickly. And we really kind of organize the company around that premise. Let's see here.
Another question I see here
Okay.
are, what are the chart types that I can actually integrate into my dashboard? And really what you can do is any of the chart types available within MarketSight are going to be the chart types that you can incorporate into the dashboard. So if you want to see a more exhaustive list, I can just go into any chart here. And basically you can see checkboxes here for all the different chart types that are available. You'll see that some are grayed out, but really the reason for this is MarketSight automatically recognizes the data type that it's given, and then ultimately you're only allowed to select the chart types that make sense with that data type.
Great. There's a question for you guys as well. Is there any way to share dashboards online or have it on a password protected page so they do not have to set up individual users?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if we were to, the ability to make a dashboard public allows you to embed that dashboard on any website that you like, or really in any fashion. So I suppose if the website that you're talking about is password protected or a user has to log in to access that, if it's behind a password protected entry point, then the MarketSight dashboard, you'd have to log in through that nature to view the dashboard. Now, Nick showed a different sharing option called share, where you can actually type in someone's username and set an expiration date. That doesn't require a password, access. But it is an obscure link, so it would be completely unguessable for someone who doesn't have access to the email that MarketSight generates for that user. Again, lastly, the key findings approach is best. It does achieve that goal of needing password, needing a password to enter, and we really encourage that. Yes, it does take some setup on the individual users, but our team can definitely help you do that if the scale is large or if that's burdensome in any way. But we definitely encourage taking that approach, as it's definitely the most secure and provides you the most flexibility on who has access to what pieces of content.
Excellent. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Ben. I think we've got some more questions, but I think from a time perspective, we're gonna wrap up here. We will answer all the questions that you had, the additional questions. A couple things I want to just from a housekeeping perspective. We will be communicating to you and sending you a recording of the webinar, so you'll have that. So expect those communications pretty quickly. We are also, we advise, if you're interested, and we offer free webinars and consultation, both if you're interested in doing dashboards or just want to see what's possible, no obligation, we can talk to you about that. And we're also able to take you through the more detailed view of the software itself and all the functions. And at that point, we can listen to what you're trying to achieve, what you're doing now, and so on, so that you can kind of at least be aware of what's out there in the marketplace, and we think we have a good solution, but we're happy to do that and invest the time, because that's really the way you're going to see if this works for you or not. There's also a 30-day free trial that we'll also put in sync for you, so you can test and try it, and we'll stay active with you so that make sure that you're really doing a full, quick investigation of is this something you'd be interested in. And then I think the other piece, the last final piece, is Ben and Nick have mentioned, we're going to be releasing another version in about 6 weeks, plus or minus. And that's going to have a lot more filter functionality, some really cool stuff, as well as additional media types, which I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation. So if you're interested in that, we're happy to walk you through that again, either you and your team or any other way that you wish to engage with us. But we're here to help. We're really interested in what you're doing, and we're really interested in making sure you're successful. So with that being said, I wanted to thank you so much for your time, for your attention and your interest. And we'll be back to you real quick. Watch this space, and we'll look for you to inquire how we can help you, and we'll be here to do it. Thanks again. There's the contact information and the phone number up top there. And I hope you have a great day. Appreciate it, and thanks.
Thanks, everyone.